Well, that pretty much sums up sports, doesn't it? You don't even have any expectations, honestly, with all the injuries the Avs had, but they give you a little bit of hope, just to tear your heart out in the end. It hurts every single year, and yet we keep coming back. Avs lose to the Dallas Stars 5-4 in overtime of Game 7 of Round 2. Got a new nifty little lapel mic here that I'm still working out the sound on, so apologies if things sound a little bit weird in this one, but hey, it is what it is. I'm going to talk about the game and break it down, but first I did want to kind of talk about something else, and that is what happened after the game. So obviously a frustrating loss for all Avs fans and people in the Avs community. AJ and I did our post-game podcast with Evan, and then after that, everyone just kind of hung out and kind of got over it, or started to get over it, or wherever you want to call it. But we just sat there and had some drinks, had some fun, watched the Rockies lose a game as well, and kind of came together as a community, which that's kind of the beauty of sports to me. Yes, obviously watching the team that you want to win is great, but there's that next layer of bringing people together as well. And maybe that's what keeps bringing me back and other people back, even though you know you're setting yourself up for failure. Your team is not likely to win the championship the vast majority of years, but you're still here. You're still watching. You're still becoming part of something bigger than just yourself. And for me, a large part of that is DNVR. I've been working here for a little over a year now. This was my first full season covering the Avs with DNVR, and it's been amazing. I've become part of not just, yes, a workplace where I work with people like AJ and all the other beats as well, becoming friends with them, but also becoming part of the bigger DNVR community. You, the person watching this video, it feels like something a whole lot bigger than just a business, which we are, DNVR. We do have subscriptions, which we greatly appreciate all of you for that, but we also just want to hang out with you and watch Denver sports. So I guess this is a thank you to you watching this. Not only the video, but just for sticking with us and always being there, like we're always here on the other end. If it weren't for you, we would just be shouting into the void about whatever sports team it is that we cover. And that's exactly what we want. We want to be embedded in the community. We want to be part of it. We want to talk to you, and we want you to talk back to us. So I always read the comments to the YouTube videos. I won't always reply, but do know that I'm seeing all of your comments. If you're ever down at the DNVR bar and you see me, don't be afraid to say hi, or if you have a question, feel free to ask, and I'll be happy to answer. That's all. That's all I got to say about that. I love working this job. It's one of the best jobs in the world. There's no argument about that, and just come by and say hi if you feel like it. All right, on to the Avs' last game in the bubble and the last game of the strange 2019-20 season. Things did not start well for the Avs, and maybe it would have been an easier loss if you had just turned it off early, but the Avs give up a power play 1 minute into the game, and the Stars' hot power play in this series, you already knew this puck was finding the back of the net. A dumped-in puck for Dallas. Hutchinson stops it and is going to send it up the boards, but it's at an awkward height for Zadorov to handle, so the Stars are able to regain possession and keep this in the zone, and from there you can kind of feel it coming. A weak little wrist shot from the point. The Avs are trying to crash and get in the way, but it's Radulov sitting in front that's going to take care of the tip and eventually put the rebound home. Just a terrible way to start a do-or-die game for the Avs. Not a good look. You knew special teams was going to be a factor in this one, and they immediately give one up. But despite the bad start, at least through the first 2 periods of this game, I think the Avs were the better team, as they would push back immediately. The Stars only held the lead for 69 seconds in this entire game. Off a dump-in, you're going to see some nice multiplayer forecheck pressure. Nichushkin being the one up front aggressive, but also Nazem Kadri following as the second man in, who is able to create possession for the Avs here off of a bad chip from Dallas. Not a ton to it from here, just to the point. Ian Cole's going to throw a shot towards the net. The Avs have multiple bodies in front, and it's going to be Vlad Nemesnikov's stick that at least gets the initial tip on this. Oop, that's not Nemesnikov's stick. This is his stick. He gets the initial tip, and then it goes off of Pavelski's skate and into the net. And hope springs anew for the Avalanche. A good bounce, and all of a sudden they're not only right back tied in the game, but momentum has shifted into their favor. Make no mistake about it, the Avs had every chance in the world to not just win this hockey game, which we'll get to, but also to put this game away at multiple stages, and they just could never quite get over that hump. However, that didn't stop them from taking and maintaining the lead for a significant portion of this hockey game. Less than halfway through the first period, the Avs score what is probably their best, or at very least their prettiest, goal of the game. Dallas not in full possession of the puck, but they're the only player anywhere near it, so they're essentially in control. And as they step up through the neutral zone, you see Andrei Burakovsky flying through to challenge, and he just makes a great read on this one to intercept a short little pass and get everyone caught going the wrong direction, allowing him to walk in essentially one-on-one, where he turns out is a pretty good shooter when he's willing to shoot the puck. It's exactly what he does, lets it fire, and beats Khudobin over the glove. The Avs have a Game 7 lead for the first time since 2014. Get used to comparisons to that year. They would play out the rest of the first, I think, leaning the Avs' way a little bit, except for a power play where the Avs weren't able to capitalize, and it's 2-1 Colorado after 1. The second period, once again, saw the Avs getting off to a slow start and paying the price. Dallas on a delayed penalty situation on Colorado here, so they have 6 skaters on. They're able to work the puck pretty effortlessly around the perimeter as they desire and eventually get it up high for nearly a carbon copy of their first goal. A shot, wrister coming from out high, sneaks its way through a man in front. It's actually going to be Yoel Kiviranta cutting across there to get a tip on this one, and it beats Hutchinson. The game is back to tied, based mostly off the Avs not being able to stay out of the box, or at least not being able to stop themselves from taking penalties, and back and forth we go. The Avs, however, do take control, and I think pretty much dominated the second period. They gave up a decent amount of chances, but got significantly more for themselves. That included a power play shortly after they gave up that goal, and for once in this series, they're actually able to capitalize and retake the lead fairly quickly. A good old-fashioned greasy one here. Just tried to get the puck down to Rantanen in deep. It looks like he mishandles it, or maybe just touches it with a bit of a weird connection, and it bounces out front when Khudobin isn't able to handle the puck, and you're going to see the Avs just crash the net hard from every angle. The puck pinballs around, it's mass chaos in front, and it eventually just squirts out there to Kadri, who reaches in, gets the backhand on it, and it goes into the net. I think that was the first time in the game where I felt like the Avs could and probably should win it. The one area Dallas was crushing them on was special teams. The Avs get a huge goal to retake the lead on it, and you have to feel good. The problem is the Avs just couldn't separate. Despite the second period being the Avs' best, they could not find that next goal to make it a 2-goal lead, and Dallas hangs on through the second period to stay within 1, and a 1-goal game and a Game 7, you know that's anyone's game. The Avs got far too passive for much of the third period. They had a 1-goal lead and they tried to protect it. On the one hand, I understand. You have your third-string goaltender in net and you got to do your best to help him out. On the other, you score another goal and it gets way, way harder for Dallas to stay in this game. And the Avs just did not make the efforts to get that next goal. What did happen was teams traded penalties, and there was a little bit of chintziness to some of these calls, but it's a Game 7. Again, you know the refs are going to even up the calls. Each team got 3 power plays. The Avs failed to score on their third period power play. You already know Dallas doesn't. Stop me if you've seen this play before. Dallas working the puck out high, Radulov in down. Well, that's not Radulov, but he'll end up in down in front of the net. This time it's John Klingberg carrying the puck, and credit here, he absolutely walks the Avs forwards with some nice moves out up high to create a shooting lane for himself. He gets the shot off, 2 stars uncontested in front. Another tip, another goal. 8.5 minutes to play, and it's a brand new hockey game. Everything up to this point now means absolutely nothing. The Avs push back, the Stars are still keeping up. It's a pretty even period from here on out. And finally, the Avs get another bounce. A bounce that should have won them this hockey game. The Avs are actually going to lose a puck battle here, but Nikita Zadorov is going to back off to the blue line and manage to keep this puck in the zone. From there, he just throws it towards the net. Comper's going to get a tip on it, which is nice, but Khudobin makes the initial save. He, however, can't manage the rebound at all. It floats into the air, and chaos ensues from there. A couple of bounces, a couple of whacks. Eventually, Nemesnikov is the man to get his stick on it and fire one just through Khudobin. A lot of the series, the Avs have not gotten the bounces, but they got some bounces in Game 7, and it still just was not enough. Vlad Nemesnikov comes up with his second goal of the game. Depth scoring abound. They got a little bit of scoring from their top line with an assist from Rantanen and a goal from Burakovsky, and even then, it just wasn't their time. A 4-3 lead with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game. That's one you gotta win. You just have to close that game out. And the Avs couldn't even close 11 seconds. Immediately after their goal, the Avs come away with the puck off the faceoff. Kadri has clean possession of it. Graves turns back to head into his own zone, and they just kind of get caught up with each other. Graves skate, runs into Kadri's stick and the puck here, and it knocks it loose, goes through Kadri's legs, and all of a sudden it turns into a 3-on-2 for Dallas. Dallas enters the zone, they get it in, they look around, they even really turn this into a 4-on-2 with the fourth man in. They have plenty of time and space, but the Avs have both defensemen back. The cross pass to the center gets thrown on. This honestly isn't even a great shot. Hutchinson is able to make the save, but gives up a rebound. A big one in exactly the wrong place, as both Avs defensemen have crashed towards the net. Wide open, Yoel Kiviranta able to put this one in. He even gets a little bit lucky as he fires it off the far post, off the crossbar, and in. But, I mean, look at this. He has the whole net to shoot at. A bad rebound from Hutchinson, and no recovery either. Third string goaltender, injuries abound, none of that matters. You had a lead with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left, and you instantly make catastrophic mistake after catastrophic mistake. That's how you lose a hockey game. The game would go into overtime from there, and overtime would kind of be more of the same. It felt like the Avs controlled play. They got the better of the overtime on the whole, but they couldn't finish. They couldn't find the critical goal, and after holding control, eventually Dallas gets their opportunity, their first real sustained zone pressure, and of course, the Avs fold. Avs defenders are tired. Dallas works this puck in behind the Avs net, and they are allowed to essentially just sit there as you're going to see chaos develop in front. Nichushkin comes down as a fourth man, and the Avs have essentially 4 men deep in the box here. Kadri doesn't recognize Nichushkin, though, so he's looking to cross to the man cheating in, while Zadorov and Girard are both sitting on each side of the post. Eventually, this leads to Nichushkin and Kadri taking the same man, giving enough room for Yoel Kiviranta to get a little bit of space and create something. At the same time, how do you let this pass through? Both Girard and Zadorov are sitting. If they're not going to pressure that man, there's no way that passing lane can be allowed to be open. Nichushkin even realizes, hey, what are we doing? Kadri, you need to take this guy. But it's already too late. As Zadorov starts to sneak out, the pass comes through him clean. Nemesnikov floating off, trying to stop a pass to the point, and an open man inside of the hash marks in overtime in a Game 7. Just can't have it. The finish comes through. The Avs give up a hat trick to Yoel Kiviranta, a player with 11 NHL games under his belt before the playoffs, 24-year-old undrafted rookie. It would essentially be like Dallas giving up a hat trick to Logan O'Connor in this game. At the end of the day, the Avs just didn't get the job done. Do the Avs win this series if they're less injured? Yeah, I think they do, but they weren't. Do they win this series if they get more lucky? Yeah, I think they do, but they didn't. At the end of the day, the Avs didn't find a way to win. They even had 3 leads in this game, and they found a way to blow them all. A disappointing way for the season to end for a team that you think is better than this. Not just healthy, but you think is better than what they showed in this Game 7. And yet, that is sports. It doesn't always go your way. So that is the end of the Avs 2019-2020 season. And while it stings, there is still more than just hope in the future. This team is going to be better next season, at least on paper. It is going to be stronger. They've now played as this core. Sure, there are moving pieces in the top 6, but the main players have now played in 2 second-round Game 7s, and while they haven't managed to win either of them, That's invaluable experience. No one is going to be talking about the Avs as an inexperienced playoff team anytime soon. You add more talent to the defense with a Bowen Byram and possibly a Connor Timmins, and that starts to look stronger. The defense was a big issue for a lot of the playoffs, especially in this round for the Avs. While the Avs got good depth scoring in this game and some other games in the playoffs, you can always use more, and they have that coming in young players like Martin Kaut and Shane Bowers. A little bit further down the line, people like Alex Newhook. The biggest question mark seems to be in goal for the Avs, but a healthy Philip Grubauer would go a long way by itself in that regard. So, the Avs do not complete the quest for the asterisk, but they're still one of the best teams in the NHL, even if they didn't make the Western Conference Finals, and they're only going to get better. Yeah, it hurts right now, but this team isn't going anywhere. It's coming back for next season, the season after that, so on and so forth. They're going to be perennial contenders. This is the last Avalanche game review of the season, but it will not be the last, obviously. Plenty of off-season content coming, whether it be player reviews, season reviews, you name it, prospect stuff as well. Plenty of videos coming your way and a bunch of other stuff at thednvr.com. We're going to have a ton of draft coverage. Really looking forward to it as much as I can. Would have rather been watching playoff hockey, but hey, there's always hockey to be watched. There's always hockey to be broken down, and that's what I'm going to do for you. So thank you for watching. This whole season has been amazing. Again, I can't overstate it enough. It's been an amazing year for me, and I'm super excited about the future of DNVR, these videos, and everything else. So I hope you guys will join along in the ride with us. I am Rudo, and there will eventually be a postseason where I don't have to shave at the end of it.